What is up, everyone? It is the Pro Wrestling Planet podcast, pwplanet.com. It is October 12th, 2022 in the year of our Lord. It's a Wednesday night and wait a minute, let me get that one more time. It's Wednesday night and
you know what that means.
all right. Didn't have your mic quite all the way up. My man, Big Vito T in the house. I'm the brand.
Yo.
Thanks for joining us, folks. Big Vito T, my man, how's it going?
It's going good, man. I love Wednesdays.
We love Wednesdays because we get to watch Dynamite and I get to drink 2 energy drinks on Wednesdays. Really the only day that happens.
Yep, Wednesdays are awesome. I love Dynamite. I love me some AEW.
I would usually be in bed right now, full disclosure, my man.
Me too, full disclosure.
Yeah, so we're burning the midnight oil, making sure we give the people what they want.
I believe the wife is sleeping, so I
better keep it down. Don't get too excited. But we got this episode of Dynamite, Vito. You know, that's kind of what we do here, in case you're new here. Pretty interesting show altogether. Of course, we'll get into the ins and outs. Yes, Toronto at the Coca-Cola Center, I think was the name of it. Coca-Cola Auditorium. Something Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola owns that son of a bitch.
And there was some rumors going around before the Coca-Cola Coliseum. Is what it's
there
called.
We go, Triple C.
There was some rumors going around since they were in Toronto that some people were going to show up.
Oh.
And, there was rumors.
Like Bret Hart or something? Or what are you talking about? I missed these rumors.
Yeah, there was rumors, but no, it's the way the show started.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, I came across this on the internet, but then completely forgot about it until the opening segment of the show. We get Renee, aka Renee Young. If you don't know, actually, Mrs. Moxley. She should have debuted as Renee Moxley.
Oh, that would have been interesting.
I don't think it's any kind of coincidence that there were dueling stories out there on the internet that John Moxley signs a 5-year extension, and then this happens a few days later. I think it's pretty.
Yeah, I also saw that she turned down an offer from WWE, and then it said they're in Toronto, and then good chance she'll be at Dynamite, and I was like, oh yeah, she'll be there, and she got work.
Trips leaving no stone unturned, apparently, in trying to bring people back to the company. So yeah, we get her. She is out. They Excalibur announces her as the newest AEW announcer, and she comes out there to do an interview thing. First of all, Vito, she interviews Christian at the ramp, and we'll get to the promo and all that here in a minute. But what do you think of the signing overall? And
I've been waiting for it, actually. I'm actually surprised it took this long.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those, what took you guys so long?
Yeah, I think it's because she's been busy. She did a book a while back, and I think she was doing some stuff. She's got that podcast.
Right.
So I think she was doing some big things. So I'm pretty sure I knew it was going to happen eventually. I also, she had some things that she had to wrap up for WWE, some prior engagements with them.
Right.
And she just filmed some videos, but I knew it was coming eventually.
Plus, it's hard to switch jobs when you're husband's in rehab. You know what I mean? No, I'm just kidding, Mox. I was just,
we love John Moxley.
Yeah, I just thought that would be funny. It was a joke. But yeah, so no, cool signing. Do you think they keep her as doing this sort of like backstage announcer gimmick? Do you see her getting on commentary at all?
I don't think so. She don't really like commentary.
She's really good as like an analyst. That's kind of what they had her doing the most.
Yeah, she said that she doesn't like doing commentary.
Yeah, I could see why. Probably not her strongest suit. She's good as like a host type person.
Yeah.
And an interviewer and that sort of thing. So yeah, maybe I don't know.
I can see her getting her own segment.
Shivani's days are numbered. I tell you what, just have Renee handle all those backstage promos and stuff like that.
I can see her getting her own segment or her own show. Like they are
Renee supposedly wanting to develop more non-wrestling content.
Yeah.
But that would be wrestling content, though, technically.
Yeah. So.
Well, she interviews Christian at the top of the ramp. The promo was very brief, non-memorable. Bags on his own home country, even though he was like stoked about being there last week when they were in the other town. Now he's like, you know what I mean?
It's also her home country.
He's got to play the heel. Okay, well, there you go.
And what's funny is little like under the rug knowledge, behind the curtain knowledge, because they're really good friends, Christian and Renee, and they have like a joke thing where they're Toronto buddies.
Oh, okay.
So he's like slamming the maple leafs, and she's like just sitting there like,
oh gosh, nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Yeah.
Put you in a headlock.
Yeah.
Well, we get Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. Vito, what'd you think of this one?
I thought it was awesome. I thought it was a good match. Luchasaurus wrestled nice and methodical in a heel way. I thought that was kind of cool. We haven't really seen him wrestle as a heel in an actual match setting. He's just been squashing guys for Fuego, justice for Fuego.
Straight squash matches.
Yeah. I thought it was really good. There were some good spots, I thought. One thing I do have to say is I think Christian on commentary
he is
was
on comedy
waste.
Too.
Yeah, I thought his commentary for this was a waste. I didn't think it was used well, I guess. I don't know. Usually it should be out there to like push the agenda or do something to add to the match. I don't think he really added to it at all.
I think that happens a lot. But
then he
that's
left
just
mid-match. So if he would have left at the end of the match and he would just kept talking through the whole match, then that would have been cool. But he left and he didn't leave by saying, "Oh, I gotta handle this," or da 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 da. It was just he kind of disappeared and someone said, "Oh, Christian left." I don't know. That was my main problem.
Christian left and he wasn't missed.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least in the commentary booth. No, that's a good point that they actually wrestled, but that's you'd expect that from this match. We've been waiting for this match for a while. Definitely not the blow-off match as Luchasaurus goes over.
No.
And so this shall continue, basically, is what.
A couple cool spots though. There was a choke slam into a hurricane to the post on the outside. Let's check that spot.
Yeah, okay.
Sweet. That table spot was right on. Luchasaurus had to throw himself back a little bit, which he threw himself a little too far.
That was I caught that too, and I thought that was actually very, very smart.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time, they're just thinking that guy's going to carry them.
Yeah.
And it's just not really, and like Jungle Boy wouldn't have been able to pull that off. It would have been a complete botch fest. So
yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. Jump through the damn table.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there was one more spot that really got me. That Poison Rana kill switch thing.
Oh my God.
Where he poisoned Rana. I thought he was done when he hit that Poison Rana. I was like, oh shit. Is he gonna check on him? But he basically said, like, I don't know I would do anything to hear what he said to him right there when he went forehead to forehead with him.
I think they're
missing
an opportunity.
And then he hit the kill switch from his knees. Yeah.
With that, anyone that does that Poison Rana move, that should be like the new DDT. Like someone hits that and you're done. You're dust.
Yeah.
So that's, I don't know. That's where I am with that. But yeah, this should continue. I think we'll probably see a bunch of Luchasaurus squashes in between until we see the next match. Maybe it'll be at the pay-per-view, though. More than likely.
Match went 14-4.
And also, I think they were already doing this, but they really laid it on thick tonight, the Jungle Boy Jack Perry stuff.
Yeah.
Especially on commentary. It's just kind of like, do one or the other. Why do we need a 4-word name?
Luchasaurus.
That only works if you're Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, exactly. His finisher is called the Cutthroat Driver. I thought that was a cool name. Cutthroat Driver.
Well, because he's from Cutthroat Island, right?
What, really?
I don't know.
I was like, what? You got me there.
I can't back it up.
Oh, man.
They go from that into a pre-tape with Ethan Page and Stokely.
And Renee.
And Renee was back there. Matt Hardy, Private Party. Now, my 8-year-old son would not take my word for it that Private Party were not the Street Profits. So, take that for what you will. And I was like, you know what, son? Especially the one guy, I can see it. The skinnier guy. He totally looks like Montez Ford or whatever.
Yeah, but that's Isaiah Cassidy. So Mark Quinn does not look like Angelo Dawkins.
Not quite, no. There's a little bit of a difference there. But yeah Quinn and Ford, their side profiles especially, it's like, man, it's Montez Ford right there. I'm like, no, that's not them, but like he wouldn't believe me. Which got me to thinking, now when you were younger, is there anyone that you like thought was like someone else but like weren't sure? Or like, you know what I mean? Because I think we all kind of did that as young wrestling fans. I'm trying to think. But you know what I mean? It seems like it seems like it's like Razor and Diesel, especially it was one or the other. I want to say it was probably Razor, but like me and my brothers would be like, the fuck, who is he? You know what I mean? And just like trying to think about like, and I don't even think we still ever put it together. They were probably remembering him from the AWA days or something.
Yeah.
Probably didn't even remember his WCW stuff, but.
No, I can't think of any of that. That's
You don't got anybody, huh?
No, not that I can think of.
Did you think of anybody yet?
No, but I am thinking about that backstage segment. It was so convoluted and
so I don't quite understand what's going on. So if you could break it down for me, you would.
Basically,
it ended up in they're going to do a match. I got that out of it.
Yeah. Ethan Page is going to wrestle Isaiah Cassidy, I believe.
So it's a one-on-one.
No. Hold on.
Or it's a tag match.
This says Matt Hardy. I thought it was going to be Isaiah. I'll get back to that. But anyway, the match is set up to where something happens. The Matt Hardy, then Private Party is out of the firm or out. Oh, that's
Right.
it. I forgot about that part.
Okay, there we go.
The firm bought Private Party because Private Party can be bought and sold like the other people. I don't think it's a good look. Not a good look. I don't think you should buy contracts.
There's a couple of these little storylines going on.
Not good. But anyway.
And we'll get to the other one later. But
for some reason, the firm wants Matt Hardy, so we'll figure that out. Anyway,
it was a stupid segment. Making him like like their mule or whatever. That could work. That could be something.
Yeah. The firm are collecting shitty wrestlers.
Collecting bodies.
Yeah.
And we'll talk a little bit more about that firm a little bit later. But the next segment we got was Ward Joe against Nick Camarado and QT Marshall. What'd you think of this one?
Well, at first I thought it was weird because the fact it was in the ring and QT Marshall had the mic and he's like
halfway through a promo.
The people we're gonna go against is Wardlow and Samoa Joe. War Joe. Like he's trying to start a chant. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, are you really trying to start a chant before Wardlow's music hits? That's what he was doing.
Right.
I was like, you're not that cool enough to do that. The fans are not going to follow you. QT Marshall. It's awful.
They get squashed. They get their
2 minutes and 24 seconds.
They get the ever-loving daylights beat out of them by Ward Joe.
Do you love Wardlow's headbutt that he does? What's your thoughts on that?
It's a fine headbutt.
Yeah,
I will say that.
So Wardlow hits all his famous spots. Then Joe comes in to choke him out while Wardlow just paces around and make sure nobody comes in. It's very beautiful. Their tag team is great.
I'm fine with squash matches. Fine with Ward Joe. I'm fine with with the whole thing. The only question I have is, you have QT Marshall and this other guy in there, this Camarado, and they're job guys, obviously. Well, QT is, but like Camarado's basically like a trainee.
Yeah.
He's
still pretty green.
Right. He's just like, they're just trying to get his ears wet. And like, my question is like, how much can you get your ears wet, being like a job dude? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, what are you dying over there?
I am dying, man. I don't know what's going on.
Jeez. But this squash match turned into something pretty good, I thought.
Speaking of which, the Embassy hits the ring.
First of all, what's his name? Brian Cage was wearing a sweater that said Swolverine. I just have to say that.
All right.
Swolverine. All right, now you can go.
Isn't there someone named Swole?
Big Swole, yeah.
Okay.
She quit the company or got fired on the controversy there.
They're bringing her back. No, the post-match stuff, Embassy comes out. Then, they say, oh, well, we're going to kick FTR's ass last week if it wasn't for you guys. So then FTR come out to a huge pop. And they basically set up a match for, I guess, Rampage, right? It's another Rampage match.
I don't know.
They
say something about what time is Rampage.
Right.
And they're looking at their watches.
10.
And they say it's 10. The chairman is back.
So Spears is back. And he's just like able to do whatever. He doesn't have to fight his way out of his contract with MJF. What exactly was the deal with that? You know what I mean? They kind of left that.
That was a long time ago. Forget that.
It's a loose string.
We want these things. The Pinnacle is back.
We want these things tied up, Tony.
Samoa Joe took MJF's spot in the Pinnacle.
Interesting.
We have a new Pinnacle.
Interesting FTR, way to put it.
Ward Joe and Sean Spears, the Pinnacle. How sweet is that?
I like it.
Yep, me too.
So it could be a feuding faction.
It's Vito's stamp of approval.
Could be like a feuding faction type deal. I could buy into it a little bit. So yeah, we're going to get that, I guess, FTR and Sean Spears match against the Embassy on Rampage. We get the Jericho promo backstage with 2.0 or, Menard and Parker, or whatever they're called as a team now, I guess. I don't know, whatever it is.
I think they're still 2.0.
Oh, okay. Now, you could tell this promo was live instead of a pre-tape because Jericho's mic was, not all there.
I love that Tony Schiavone has been using the word systematic cheating. And he uses it a lot, too. It's so funny.
That's a good way to describe it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that seems to be kind of the theme of what's going on there, but obviously we'll get to more of that. But in this promo here, they're basically just talking about Daniel Garcia. If he'd mentioned Danielson, I didn't catch it because, like I said, it sounded like there were mic problems to me. So
yeah, they were raging about how he's going to have to fight with Lionheart.
All right then. Well, then we get Daddy Ass Billy Gunn. Officially Daddy Ass Billy Gunn. Yeah. Now, in the pre-match graphic, it was actually there, in writing, which I thought was a neat touch. So, some stuff happened after this, but what did you think about the match itself, Veep?
Oh, it was good. Let me get your honest opinion. Do you think Billy Gunn looks better now or in 1999?
I'm going to say 99.
Really?
He looks great now. And technically, from a body standpoint, I would be fine with saying with somebody saying that he looked better now, because it's kind of one of those beauty is in the eye of the beer holder type things. I think he was in phenomenal shape back then. Now he just looks so almost uncontrollably big.
Yeah.
He's just so stacked up top. And that was never really his thing.
He wasn't in really good shape. You're right. He was in really good shape back in 99. All right.
He was just thinner and,
yeah.
I mean, if if I were to avatar a body type, I would rather have that one than this one, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here I am,
All right.
240 of straight flab, and I'm critiquing Daddy Ass's body. So it's quite a world that we live in here, Vito.
In 23 years, he doesn't look too much different than he does in this picture with picture of I'm looking at here
From
with
a
lips on
youthful
his junk.
From a youthful standpoint, yes. I mean, he doesn't look like he's aged much. He's definitely found the fountain of youth, as it will.
Yeah, his face is different, but his body looks pretty much ripped. Yeah. So Billy Gunn is definitely a fountain of youth tapper for sure.
So this team
Swerve is a good heel, man. That's what I'm gonna say.
This team is super over. I know that. And I was gonna ask you about Swerve and the heelness there, Vito, my man. I'm glad you mentioned that, because yes, I thought he did a lot of great stuff tonight, right?
Yeah.
And I dig the character. But there was one part, just a little tiny critique. And that's that I noticed, and this was during the cut-in, mainly is where I noticed this at. And, usually when they're doing that cut-in with the commercial, that's like when the major heel heat's going on. And what I noticed is that he was doing like a lot of like old school type like heel maneuvers, like just like, being like the dirty wrestler,
And, like holds?
Well, like, holds and like, like eye gouging or whatever the hell he was doing.
He did a
or
little
just
nose action.
Yeah. I just don't think that fits him. I think he needs to be a cocky heel instead of like a dirty heel. You know what I mean?
He did a lot of weird Johnny Depp Pirates of the Caribbean looking stalking stuff.
His facials, were very strange.
And the way he moved about on the ring, almost like a Randy Orton getting ready to do an RKO.
Oh my God.
Or Matt Riddle trying to do an RKO. I don't know, it just looked weird. He was like doing some, I don't know.
Bro, you know what that reminded me of? And this just popped into my head.
What?
You remember the original Get Shorty? You ever watch that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I used to watch that movie a lot, and there's the part where John Travolta is Chili Palmer. He's there with Danny DeVito, whatever his character was, forget the name, Martin Weir. And he's like trying to like tell him like about this part, and like trying to get him to like act, he's telling him about his movie or whatever. And he's like, okay, well, look serious or whatever, look like you want to kill me or something like that. And DeVito's like trying to give him the face, and Chili Palmer's like, what are you, like tired or something? Like, what do you, don't ever do, like, that's what Swerve reminded me of here. Like,
that's funny.
Just these, I don't know. The facials just weren't doing it for me. Basically what I'm saying.
He spent the match working the leg. Then he did this crazy move to where Billy Gunn's on the outside, and he's laying down on the outside, and Swerve jumps over the rope or through the rope. I'm not sure which one. I think over the rope, and he lands his knee drop. He lands a knee drop on Billy Gunn's leg, like he dove over the top rope and targeted the leg from the top. Oh man, it was impressive. I like.
You got to work the leg, brother.
You got to work the leg.
We're working the leg in our match, so you're going to have to work something else.
Billy Gunn only sells when he wants to. So he like sold the leg when he came back in the ring, And then he's like getting ready to do the famouser and stuff, and he's like, "No, something the fuck happened, dude." He's like, "Nope, I gotta do my spot, so I can't sell this until I'm done." And sure enough, when he was done doing his movements, my leg,
Oh my gosh.
He's old school, man.
Like a true vet, you know. Got to get his stuff in.
Yep, gotta get my stuff in.
Well, weird pairing as it was, I think that they made it work and had an interesting little match.
Screwy ending.
Who was this new ref? Stefan Smith? He ever been there before? Did you notice this?
The black guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a black ref. Everyone's got to have a black ref.
I've never seen this guy before.
Yeah.
I was like, is this like, you know, some kind of Canadian fill-in? One of the refs couldn't get across the border or something?
Oh my goodness.
But, so we've taken, now this is going to become a thing, Vito.
What?
The people have taken Seven Nation Army chant and turned it into, "Oh, scissor me daddy."
Yep.
So there's that.
This match went 8:47 and it had kind of a stupid ending.
You know, he does a cheat finish, right?
Yeah.
He does like the old cheating. See, that's the thing. Like,
you wrapped his arm around the rope.
Another old school heel thing. Like, I just don't think that that's Swerve's deal.
I don't know.
I'm not trying to tell a guy how to do his character because obviously he's spent more time thinking about it than I have. But that's just my observation. I want to see cocky Swerve, not necessarily cheating, ruthless, weird facial making Swerve.
We got bitter Swerve.
I like Swerve. I like Swerve.
I'm not a fan.
Trying to help. Really? Okay.
Yeah, not a fan.
To each their own.
I'm a fan of the guy who came out next, though.
I think he could be good. Now, Mark Sterling hits the ring with Tony Nese. I'm a fan of
smart Mark Sterling. He's low-key my lawyer.
Well, pretty dang good lawyer because apparently he filed the paperwork to trademark "Scissor Me Daddy" and all scissoring.
Hey, you can't put that on air.
Right. I'm going to get
He's
so
gonna
much
sue
trouble.
You. Yeah.
I'm going to get my pants sued off here.
You better bleep that in post.
I will. What do you think of this angle?
I like it only because it ended with "Scissor Me Daddy Niece."
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh man. I love "Scissor Me Daddy Niece."
It gives you hope, doesn't it?
Oh man.
Like,
there's just something about that.
People actually reacting to a Tony Nese segment. It's like the freaking world has froze over.
Oh man.
But yeah, so this'll be interesting. They'll do this.
It'll be at the pay-per-view. It'll be
he'll
Scissor
harass
Me.
Him, yeah, and he'll put it on the line.
It'll be Scissor Me versus the titles. Josh Alexander and Tony Nese.
Okay.
It'll be Scissor Me versus the titles. I can see it. I'm a booker. You're a booker. We've been wrestling fans for years. That's it.
Okay.
Put it on the line, Tony. Full gear.
Works for me, Vito, my man.
You know it.
Speaking of working for me, this MJF promo we had up next, once he got to it, was complete fire. Of course, at the beginning of it, Stokely's in there trying to take screen time away, and MJF runs him off, tells him that's his second strike. He's pissed with the antics of the firm. So this is going to be over before it even gets started between him and these guys, apparently.
He called him Carlton Banks.
Yes, that was awesome. Loved it.
That's crazy. I really hope that doesn't turn into something where like they cost him the title or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
I
I
really hope
thought
that's
that.
not where they're going.
I thought that during this. I really did. I was like,
Um,
this doesn't look good.
Now that we're here at this segment, I need to ask you. There's a term MJF has been using. I think he used it before he left. Generational talent.
Okay.
What's your thoughts, opinion, comments on just the term itself, generational talent,
I love
and
it.
who are other generational talents?
Well,
What do you think that? What's that term mean to you? Generational talent. That's a
the first
interesting term.
the first time I heard it was a few years back, and I want to say it was on like one of my football podcasts. You know, it's something that they use in the sports world a lot. When you're talking about a draft prospect, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so many, like, you know, whatever it is, you know, 30, 40 different like running backs or whatever position it is that come out of the draft every year. And you look through all those guys and it's like, yeah, you see a lot of great stuff, but some guys stick out as a generational talent. You know, that's how it would always be used. So that's kind of what I think of is, you know, I think it's a fine term and it's something
but in wrestling,
to stick out.
In wrestling, you believe MJF is a generational talent, no doubt, right?
Absolutely, 100%.
And what can you name me a couple other generational talents?
Well, when I think about generational talents, I mean, you're talking about like all the people that are really, really great. And they're very few and far between, you know.
Yeah.
The first thing that sticks out into my mind is, you know, people like Austin and Rock. And you hear those comparisons a lot to The Rock, especially in MJF. But it doesn't even have to be that far. You know what I mean? Cena was also a generational talent. Roman right now, you know, generational push or talent, you know, however you want to look at it.
Certain so generational talent special. Is just another way to say, you know, possible GOAT.
Right. Yeah, it's just someone special, you know, different from the rest of the pack. I don't know. What do you think?
I was really, I don't know. The term just seemed very, I don't know. I'm not going to say bland. I don't know what the term, generic. That's the term. Okay. It seemed very generic. So I was like, and he uses it's like one of his catchphrases almost. I'm a generational talent.
Right.
It's like, okay, I was trying to think like, what is a generational talent? Why is that a thing? And so that's why I wanted to get your opinion on exactly what it was, because it's like, seems like a vague description of, I mean,
it can also be confusing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's like when you're talking about generation in wrestling, it usually is around like second generation or third generation, you know, like that's usually what it's associated with. So
I mean, if you add a different word to it, like the new generational talent, the latest generational talent, all generational, you know, there's, if you were to add another word to it, I might be a little closer to understanding. But just saying generational talent, I don't know. Seems vague.
I think it's better than
I get what you're saying, though.
Right.
I get what you're saying, though. The 90s where, you know, Sean, Rock, those were generational talent. I get that.
Right.
I can get behind that.
For sure. No, and it's just kind of, you know, it would just be the lingo for this day and age, you know. Back in the day, back in the 90s, they would float around the term icon. That was the that was the hot button word.
Yeah.
I'm the icon of this business. And that
the showstopper, the main event, the icon.
Right. Right. That lasted a lot of years. But that was a spinoff. I think the first person that actually used it was either Piper or Hogan.
Yeah. I
first heard it used in WCW back in the NWO days. I'm pretty sure it was, I don't know, maybe they didn't even refer it, because I remember that Piper Hogan match at Starrcade. It was Icon versus Icon. That was how they billed it.
I remember that.
And so that's when that word started getting thrown around a lot. And then it turned into the best in the world. Like everyone was, it was Jericho's thing. That was CM Punk's thing. Now I guess it's generational talent.
Generational talent.
I turned English for a second.
Yeah, I got that. Now this next segment is segment of the night, in my opinion.
The MJF promo was fire. We got cussing again, just so you know. But if you didn't watch it live, it'll more than likely be bleeped if you see it elsewhere. But they allowed MJF to cuss. And yes, then we led into this Jon Moxley, Adam Page promo to get us hyped up for the match next week.
Great promo.
They're throwing us a curveball with this being on a Tuesday next week, which is weird.
Yeah, I know.
Is that because it's like an NBA thing or what?
I have no idea. So, remember when Hangman went off script, supposedly pissed CM Punk off and caused all this hootenanny?
Right.
Remember that?
Yes.
You think he might have went off script tonight too and said, all my friends disappeared? Or do you think that was cool? Because he said, day by day, my dark aura laser disappeared. Hey, even my best friends, all my best friends disappeared. It's like, oh shit. Actually, the first thing that came out of my mouth was, oh, snap! Like, really loud, and Laura looks over at me, and I was like, oh, sorry. Just don't look at me.
Well, at this point, if you're Paige, like, why not? Because he's there, and they're not, Punk's not, especially.
Yeah. Yeah, when he said that, I was like, oh, snap.
There we go, mic drop.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was really good. I mean, there was some cool stuff like that thrown in there. Overall, though, this was really the standard, the whole, I respect you, but once I get in there, I only know one way to wrestle, brother. Your classic the cameraman promo for this situation.
Whoever's running the camera angles tonight, killing it. Because when Hangman's done punching himself in the head, the camera immediately pans to MJF, and he's sitting there with a bowl of popcorn.
You're right, yeah.
Going like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, it's immediate. Cut over. Oh, man. Perfect.
Right. Yeah.
My note here says Hangman won that.
Yeah, if this was Wild and Out, he would have gotten served.
Or the WWE video game, where you get the plus points or the minus points when you're doing that.
Oh, when you do the promo.
A promo, yeah.
Gosh, that's so weird.
I don't like that game.
That's a whole nother discussion. The weirdness of those games the last few years.
We'll do a video game podcast one day too.
Absolutely. We get a hype video for Danielson and Lionheart, which leads into the match.
Bobby Cruz, no neck brace. Good for him.
Bobby Cruz?
Yeah, the ring announcer.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He was in neck brace last week.
So I'm going to pose this question to you.
Hit me.
We have a ROH ring announcer,
Yes.
ROH commentators.
Technically 2, but yeah, only 1 tonight.
This is being conducted for the ROH Championship here on AEW television. But it is being conducted by an AEW official. Isn't that strange?
I've had that problem since the beginning. I really wish that they would have Ring of Honor referees.
Have you mentioned this before? And I'm just drawing a blank. Okay.
Yeah, I have a problem.
It really bugged me tonight for some reason.
Yeah. I took note here that Chris Jericho is the 37th Ring of Honor champion, and he's the 5th Canadian to be the Ring of Honor champion.
Interesting.
Bryan Danielson was the 7th Ring of Honor champion.
Wow.
I didn't get his other reigns.
So
only that
30 champions in between.
Yes.
30 reigns in between at least.
And Daniel Bryanson was a couple of those.
Well, Jericho is looking more and more like Randy the Ram every single day. I just couldn't help but see it here in this match. I was just like, oh my gosh, Ram Jam.
Oh my God. Oh, news just broke. He's going to be in The Wrestler too.
Right.
Oh man, that's funny.
He's pushing to have this match with Rourke. No, I don't know.
Oh man, they had a match, didn't they? Or he just got knocked out?
Yeah, they
Wasn't
did a
he
spot.
the one that wrestled Rourke? Yeah,
they did a spot at the end. Rourke pulled out at the last minute, and so they had him wrestle the Legends that year with Rourke just like in the crowd or whatever.
Yeah, and he ended up punching him, didn't he?
Yes.
Something like that. Didn't he punch him? Yeah.
It was supposed to be a full-on match, though. It's disappointing, but probably for the better.
So they did the fake out song.
Yeah. I was like, is that the first time they've done that?
You can't mess with the AEW crowd. They will not be stopped. They finished that fucking song. You cannot stop them. I'm dropping the F-bomb at least twice. Sorry, folks, for all you kids who are listening. I'll clean it up.
Yeah, it's all right.
Bleep those in post. Folks, little spoiler, we don't have a post.
It's live to tape, baby. Tape to live.
I just want to take a note and say how Excalibur is my favorite commentator these days, because I learned so much about previous indie and New Japan matches that I don't know about, because all these wrestlers have only been in AEW for 3 years or less. Some of them only a couple months. And right. Excalibur fills us in on everything they did that's not WWE. So, Excalibur, if you're listening to this, which I think you are, thank you for teaching me.
Crazy half-cocked theory here, okay?
Yes.
If you remember, back in the day, Mike Tenay would always do the luchador segments on WCW or whatever, right? And he knew all this stuff about Mexico. So Excalibur is like a random love child of Mike Tenay's from Mexico, I think.
That, you know what? I'll do you one better. That could be Mike Tenay under that mask doing a great Excalibur impression.
Yeah. You know, because we all know Mike Tenay is actually an alien.
Yeah.
But that's that's a story for another day.
We'll do a wrestlers who are actually aliens podcast another time, folks.
But do you know what I'm referencing there? You ever hear that story? Just real quick. I'll try not to be too long. If you heard that was like something, I think, God, who was it? It was either Russo or it was like Disco Inferno's like idea, right? Like, or maybe it was both of them put together. I don't know, but that was like a failed pitch or a storyline in WCW. Was like Mike Tenay was going to be like actually an alien, and they were going to do this whole like. That's weird. I'll have to find the story and send it to you because I don't really remember the details, but yeah. Crazy. Would have been a really weird storyline. Now, this match, getting back to this match, Vito, Danielson, Jericho, very interesting because they were in Canada. They go to the break, and I didn't really notice this until they went to the break and did the picture-in-picture stuff. I'm like, oh, man. Like, they're letting Danielson do moves during the break? That's weird. He was
doing a hold and posing.
Well, no, they were doing stuff.
No, like, what I'm saying is, like, Danielson had his leg and was doing, like, a leg wrench. And when he did, like, like a Hulk Hogan set of poses, the double guns and then the point the gun. Isn't that like a heel move?
Well, and then that's when I was like, okay, that's really weird. When they came back, I then started thinking about it and just like listening to the crowd. They're in Canada. So Danielson, either they did this on the fly or whatever, but he started working heel because the Canadian crowd was behind Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
It was kind of weirdly split in the beginning, and then it kind of just went towards Danielson or towards Jericho. Right. It was weird.
And they went along with it. Like, and it's like they switched everything up to where Danielson did the heat during the break or whatever, and he was acting kind of heelish after that.
Yeah. And it was in this match that we got the official Taz Yambag quote. I did not catch the context, but
the Yambag of the week.
This is where we got the Yambag of the week. Did you happen to catch the context of the Yambag?
I did not catch it. No.
Dang it. All right. So next week I'll listen for the Yambag and make sure I get the context. This week I did not get the context. So just heard the Yambag.
I did notice that Jericho did like an AA type thing, and the commentary team didn't really know what to call it.
Yeah.
They were just like, yeah.
Death Valley Driver press or
right. They just didn't even call it. They just like went in the next thing.
So something happened in this match, and one of my biggest pet peeves in a match is when a referee doesn't do something good.
Yeah.
So there was I don't remember what move it was, but the shoulders were down, and it was the type of move where like the shoulders wouldn't usually be down. It wasn't like a regular pin. I think it was like a submission that had the shoulders down situation,
Okay.
The referee took his hands, did the slide under to check the shoulders, but he did it just for looks because the shoulders were down. He didn't even put his hand under the shoulders. He did it like in front of them. So he did the little hand wave thing,
Right.
And then got up to, I don't know, see what was going on above him. But I was like, dude, the shoulders are clearly down. What were you sliding your hand under? Nothing. It was crazy. I was like, why'd you even do that?
Well, we had to give the look.
Yeah. The look of the pin that he wasn't counting. Oh, man. Yeah. I hate that.
Jericho did some stuff, reminiscent of the early career, was doing the Lionheart working during this, and except for the whole wanting to cheat deal and
systematic cheating.
The systematic cheating, that's right. So we get, I guess there was a ref bump in this.
No, he got what he deserved.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, they knocked him into it.
And then, right, Jericho tries to use the belt, but we get Garcia coming down to break it up, grabs the belt from him. But then, swerve, bro.
Smash in the face.
He hits Danielson. And the crowd is just, their jaws, you can just hear them collectively drop when that happened.
And I think they cheer.
They cheered just a little bit. All right, because Jericho was the face in this situation.
Yeah.
It was strange.
The match went 14-31.
Okay, just about 15 minutes.
Yep.
So Jericho's still the ROH champion. And this isn't over between the JAS and the BCC.
No. Unfortunately, it's not.
This is going to keep going. That's kind of my only thing is like, man, it seems like there would be a better use for Jericho and Danielson to have matches with some younger guys instead of each other all the time, but that's really my only complaint about it. You think it's just ran its course, though?
Yeah, they just wanted to give us, they wanted to show us Danielson trying to go for the ROH title because, he's held it a bunch of times or the longest reign or whatever it is. So the next guy's going to be a younger talent. I'd hope.
Okay. And apparently Garcia is still in the JAS and is now not planning on leaving. So kind of glad this is the way that ended up turning out, actually.
This is the way.
It's the way. It's the truth of the life. So yeah, pretty good stuff there. But nothing blow away. And of course, you get the weird, heel win. Then we go to a Nyla Rose pre-tape. She's stolen the TBS title, apparently. Do you know what the story is with this?
Don't forget, it's with Renee again.
Renee Paquette, baby.
She's now on TV for the third time tonight, if you're keeping track. Yes, she's with the Vicious Vixens. Nyla stole the belt at Battle of the Belts.
Okay.
She came in at the end of that TBS title match and took it.
Okay.
When Jade was wrestling Willow Nightingale.
Oh, that's right. The Battle of the Belts was last weekend.
Yeah. So now we are having a match where it's Nyla versus Anna JAS, because that's what that little situation was.
Right.
And they're challenging for a stolen title. It's awesome.
We've got interim champions. We've got stolen champions.
Nyla challenging Anna JAS challenging Nyla for Jade's belt. It's like those guys putting our titles on the line up there and just like running with our belts in their shows.
Are they actually doing that?
No, but it'd be fucked up. That's the same type of deal. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like we go to a show up there and we're like, they're carrying our belts. It's like, that's the same type of deal.
Well, I don't know.
Stolen title.
I don't know the real origin of this, but just popped in my head just now. I'm thinking this is just a way to, I don't know, delay, like buy Jade some time for something and get that, the way to get that title on to someone else, kind of, without her losing, which I don't know why you'd really want to do that, but
you think Jade's hurt?
I mean, I wouldn't go that far. I mean, I think maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's just a way to get the title off of her for a minute. Just give her something to do, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, the only thing I'm okay with Jade taking time away and not being the champion is she's going to go play Storm. And if that's the case, I'm cool with that.
Okay. I like it.
That's like one of her dream jobs. That's the only reason why I say it. She'd be an awesome Storm.
It might be something like that. I mean, that might be what they're doing. You know, they let Nyla run around with it for a few months. And then when Jade's ready to come back, you know, she thumps her and takes it back.
Well, if I remember right, she was like, no, it seemed like she was holding her arm, maybe.
Really?
Did you watch Battle of the Belts?
I missed it. See, I totally forgot it was this last weekend.
I'm going to have to go back and watch it. I feel like maybe she was holding her arm at the end.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm going to go back and watch it and see if I can find out the way she looked at the end of it.
If it was an in-injury match, that's a pretty swift audible called by Khan right there to have that ready to go.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so more women's stuff. Then we get Britt and Hayter against Toni Storm and Hikaru Shida. Take us through this, beat.
Shida Storm.
Shida Storm.
That's what I'm calling. Or Shid Storm. Not sure which one.
Sheet Storm. Yeah. A sheet storm.
A sheet storm is coming your way.
Seemed fine. Seemed like a fine match, but I was kind of in and out.
So, couple things. Tonight, Britt and Jamie had separate music.
Oh, they usually don't do that. Okay, I didn't notice.
No, they always come out together.
Okay.
So, you know, they've been teasing this breakup forever. For an eternity.
I got a question for you, Vito. Did they
Am I tired of this? Yes, I am, Brand. Thank you for asking.
I'm tired of the teasing already. Let's get to it.
Go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to ask you, did they announce this Toni Storm Hikaru Shida match before this took place?
Before this match?
Right.
Yeah, they were supposed to have it weeks ago, but Britt beat up Shida in the locker room.
Oh, I see.
And they replaced them with they replaced her. Who are they? Who she? Her partner was last week. I don't remember, but they replaced her with somebody.
See, that's kind of what I was thinking here when I was just kind of going in and out of it. Was that I was like, well, you know, and then especially after the finish, I was thinking to myself, like, okay, why didn't Britt?
Oh, it was Hayter... Athena.
Yeah, that's right. Metal Wings Athena.
Yeah, Metal Wings Athena. So they had separate music. Okay. So that's not something that usually happens unless Hayter's in a singles match. Then she has her own music. But they had matching gear, which I love their gear.
Right.
Really good matching gear. The other thing, Shida did something that I thought was very, very interesting. You know, when you're clubbing someone, when you're throwing forearms, they're able to block like this.
Right.
She grabbed her arm and was clubbing her while holding their arm. I thought that was amazing. I was like, how come everybody don't do that?
Right? It seems like the most simplest counter in the world.
Yeah,
but yeah, you've never seen it till now.
Just hold them there. You'll be fine.
No, I was tilted about this, you know, because I was just thinking, okay, well, why did Shida go over, you know, but then it all made sense to me later when I was like, okay, well, they're having the match next week or on Rampage or whatever, Toni Storm and Hikaru Shida, a face versus face match.
Yeah.
So that should be fun.
Trying to look something up here because I feel like something got changed and we weren't told about it. So I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Okay.
Yes, it is official. What they are now calling Storm Zero is not the original Storm Zero.
Oh, really?
Yes. Tony Storm's finisher, the Storm Zero, used to be a Tiger Bomb. But now it's just like a pile driver for some reason. Just a regular pile driver. I don't know what happened.
Maybe she was injuring folks.
Somewhere it got changed.
We can't have you doing that Tiger Bomb because you do it shittily and you broke someone's neck. No, I don't know. No Saraya on this show, though.
I was waiting for you to say that. And you want to know why?
Canada thing?
Yep. What we were talking about earlier.
Oh, yeah. Probably a vax status thing, you'd imagine, huh?
It is.
Yeah.
It most certainly is. I remember something from an interview she had once.
Okay.
And she's one of those, I ain't getting none of that. Nuh-uh.
She's an anti-vaxxer.
Well, I'm not saying that.
Well, no, I mean, she's against.
I'm just saying that she ain't getting that Fauci ouchie.
Which is interesting because her boyfriend did. So.
Dun, 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 dun. Match went 8:15.
All right.
A little over 8 minutes.
It was fine. Then we get our main event, Vito, my man.
Whoa, hold on a second. I got something I got to talk about first.
Okay.
The Triple Bs had a talk. They were complaining about Mox and Claudio. And by Triple B, I mean Butcher, Blade, and the Bunny.
Oh, yeah. Why didn't I write this down?
Okay, so
I remember,
there was
though.
a little
I did see it.
thing they said. They said that John and Claudio made Rush's kids look bad, which he meant Private Party, which are no longer part of him. They're now part of the firm. But let's not poke holes in that. But he said Rush's kids.
Right.
But is it the Rush family party or office? Is it the Rush?
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Family office?
So now it's
No, Andrade.
Oh.
Yep. And Andrade wasn't there last week because
the fight with Sammy
Guevara.
Ouch.
And there was no Sammy there tonight. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, no, I did notice he was gone. Pretty much he was gone. Hager wasn't there. Which that could...
Like I said, like you said, it's Canada, so people were missing. But
right.
Andrade could have been for another reason because obviously he called him Rouge's kid and not Andrade's kids.
Ooh, that's a very good catch, Vito. I did not notice that.
If he would have spoken Spanish, then I would have just assumed he said, all my friends are disappearing.
So that's a very interesting little nugget added to the fabric of this whole story with Andrade. So we'll have to see.
Let's follow that one close.
How this all pans out. But yeah, I was just kind of, I don't know, man. I just been kind of putting the blinders on when it comes to all this stuff because it's like, I just don't know what to believe anymore with all this stuff, So it's almost in a way, it's made me like kind of shy away, like more than ever from like sheet stuff, Like
the dirt.
I look at the dirt still, but like just in a different way and not as much really, especially when it has anything to do with this AEW stuff, because it's just like, I don't know what what's real and what's not as far as this whole thing goes. If we're to believe that all these instances are actually shoot, Like, my God, what a freaking nut house this place sounds like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when you really think about it, like, if all these things are shoots, like, there's fights going on every week backstage, like, what? You know?
Old school.
Like, not even old, like, I don't know, man. Like,
that's what they used to do back in the day. They get drunk backstage and fight. Bradshaw's told so many stories about getting in fights backstage.
The post-show fake brawl at the bar is supposed to be just that, fake. Or worked, rather. I hate to use that word, fake.
Yeah. Let's talk about this main
But
event.
I was quoting Kayfabe, the movie.
Yeah.
OC and Pac for the All-Atlantic title.
Bastard.
Cassidy got a huge pop. This crowd, either it was this crowd or hopefully it's more crowds in general, are finally getting used to the new music. And they know exactly when to pop. They know exactly when he's coming out now, you know, after like the build-up.
His music was louder tonight than it usually is.
See, there you go, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was louder.
Too.
Yeah.
Maybe they went in and did a little editing and Reaper and turned the volume up on the track.
Yeah, the beginning of this match was really cool, I thought.
I don't know, the original track is only from 1974. But yeah,
the very opening minutes of this match I thought were really cool.
When Pac did all the OC spots, I like that.
And he backed up like 3 different times, and then he ate a devastating drop kick.
You know, you just can't go wrong with these Cassidy Pac matches. This is like, I guess, the second or third one I've seen now.
Now let me tell you something about my good friend Excalibur.
All right.
He knows all the move names.
That's another thing I was going to mention earlier. Yes.
Okay. So when Orange Cassidy flew out of that ring and Pac stopped him, or I don't remember exactly how it went, but it was something like that. Oh, Pac caught him like this and did the slam on him. You know what Excalibur called that?
What was that?
Tope Interruptus.
Oh, wow.
I was like,
I love it.
Yes.
You know that after he caught him, that wasn't just a slam, Vito. It was a devastating looking brain buster.
Yeah. Brain buster.
It was like a twisting. He bumped on his side for whatever reason, Cassidy, and it looked devastating.
What is that move that I can't even think of it. That move that Seth Rollins does.
The pedigree?
Where he goes off the top. No, the one where he goes off the top and he turns around and does that right there.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. I don't know what it's called, though.
That's kind of what it was like.
It's the Seth spot.
Like one of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sheeta does one of those, too. That's kind of what it was like. It was like a brain buster, one of those things.
That does it though, where he like isn't he the one that it's like he picks him up and
Falcon
then just
Arrow.
like throws Falcon Arrow. There, that's exactly what it was.
It was like a brain buster Falcon Arrow. Very cool.
Right. But I'm pretty sure Excalibur called it a Falcon Arrow. If I remember right, now that I'm thinking about it. But whatever. You know. I loved Cassidy's rollback to the ring during the count-out spot. That was awesome.
Yeah.
We get some ear blood from Pac.
Dude, no one takes a DDT like the bastard does. I love the way he contorts his body after a DDT.
That's, that's what sets people apart, my man, is how they sell. And I like that, yes. Anything that looks like any kind of extra effort on the part of the seller, Great job. You know, like I remember when The Rock used to take a pile driver. Still, no one takes a pile driver like the way Rock took pile drivers. He would.
Same with the stunner.
Right. But he would just pop up somehow. Like, I don't know how he did it.
Also, tonight we found out Danhausen's curse is real.
Now, did the curse work? I don't.
Yes.
I thought it did not work.
What? No, it worked.
Well, Pac tries to use the belt, but Danhausen shows up in disguise, gets a huge pop. We even get a Danhausen chant, which was very nice, very evil.
Very nice, very evil.
But then Pac tries to use the ring bell, but OC steals it. Ends up giving it to the ref. He thinks about using it, though. Hits 2 big orange punches, and your new All-Atlantic champion, and the first time ever as a champion, Orange Cassidy.
Orange Cassidy. That's why I had the action figure sitting right over my left shoulder this whole entire show.
Zoom in.
For those of you who are just listening to the podcast, you can't see it. It's right here over my left shoulder. It's an AEW action figure of Orange Cassidy.
It's like the good angel on that shoulder, and then you got your evil Deadpools on your other shoulder.
Just a whole bunch of Deadpools over my right shoulder. Just a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
Orange Cassidy wins.
Pretty cool, man. You know,
11 minutes and 8 seconds.
What do you think of OC being a champ?
I think it's overdue. It's about time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm actually glad Pac lost because the trios title and him were too much.
That's the other thing I was about to say. Yes, it's not like he needs that title since he has the trios title, and we haven't seen them since they won those. So I hope they do. They
defended him against Dark Order at. You gotta go watch Battle of the Belts, friend.
It was on Battle of the Belts, really?
Yeah.
Dude, I missed this whole weekend. It was so busy. I missed all that. I missed Extreme Rules.
You missed Extreme Rules?
I mean, I went back and watched the Bray thing.
Oh, okay.
But I still haven't watched the whole show. No, I was like, well, I watched the Bray Wyatt deal. It's pretty much all I care about.
He's gonna be on SmackDown supposedly.
Yeah, I don't believe he was on Raw on Monday.
No. A video package.
Well, what are we rating this thing, Vito?
I'm going to give it a 4.
A foul?
A foul.
Really?
Yeah. Ooh. I thought it was a good show. Lots of good. There was no, I don't think there was no lulls for me. Let's see. Let me go through my notes here. The thing backstage with Matt Hardy and the firm and all that was probably the only lull for me. The rest of it was a good show, I thought. Yeah. Yep. Getting a solid 4 for me.
What
do you got?
Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's a bad show when I say this, all right? It was a fine show. Yeah. I liked the fact, the main event was great. Probably, my favorite thing of the night, besides the MJF promo, which I thought was just fire, of course. But other than that, though, man, there was a lot of stuff on this show I did not care for. I could have done without the whole Ward Joe deal. What else? There was just stuff that was just kind of like meh. It just didn't really feel like a super important show to me.
Yeah.
So I went 2.5.
Oh, all right.
Which seems low, but it's just it's not that it was.
It was
bad.
A Toronto show, so
right.
It wasn't gonna hype you up anyway.
Well, you got a skeleton crew.
Like the Warjo thing was to bring back the Pinnacle. So, I mean, that wasn't going to sell huge anyway.
It was an angle to do, and that's a whole nother thing. And the Mox page thing was good. I don't know. I might bump it up to a 3 now that I'm thinking about it. But my initial
Look at that,
thoughts,
folks. We got him to bump it to a 3.
my initial thought after the show was like, I just didn't think that there was that much like memorable about it. So that's why I rated it low.
Yeah.
But be that
Fair
as
enough.
it may. Now, Vito, the show is going to be, we mentioned, going to be on a Tuesday next week. Are we still on board to cover this thing?
As far as
Good to
I
go
know.
with that? Okay, cool.
Our fans need us.
We need them. We need them and they need us.
That's true.
That's the whole point. Tony Khan listens to this show, so
he does.
We got to make sure that he gets that instant feedback gratification that we all want, need, and crave. Somehow, even though it was an uneventful Dynamite, we found a lot of stuff to talk about.
We did.
And we ran about 10 minutes over what we usually do. So, time to wrap this up. Vito, any parting thoughts?
I'm looking forward to next week.
Next week's going to be sick.
America.
It's going to be nice. Not just America, but it's going to be nice that there's a big title match.
Well, I'm looking forward to hopefully Saraya and Britt Baker too. I want to see them start mixing it up. I want to see more Saraya and Britt Baker.
There you go.
Ready for it. There we go, folks. That's Big Vito Tease saying Saraya and Britt Baker coming soon.
It's what the people want. It's what electrolytes, it's what plants crave. Well, we thank you very much for joining us here. Make sure that you're subscribed or leaving ratings on wherever you're listening at. pwplanet.com, Pro Wrestling Planet Podcast. It is for my man, Big Vito T. I am the brand. Vito, my man, give me some.
Peace out.
Woo.
No scissoring this week.
We will see you next week. Yeah, we don't want to get sued.
Thanks a lot, Smart Mark.